4 killer strategies. 4 strategies that are going to help you get in the head of your opponent, either before the fight or during the fight. If you can implement even one of these, maybe it'll tip the scales in your favor just a little bit. You can have a great gym that you are training at, fantastic training partners, wonderful atmosphere, but you're still going to be missing that championship instruction, most likely, unless you're at some gym where a former champion is now instructing. To make sure that you are getting instruction at the highest level, I have put together Strike Ready Assault, my offense course, which starts this Monday. Coming up right now, it starts, doors close on Sunday. You can get registered for, I believe, 3 more days. And you're gonna have access to something like 25 videos. We're gonna have 3 live calls, and I'm gonna be teaching you everything from awesome partner drills to do, which will help you increase your offensive skills. We're gonna be talking about how to create setups, really breaking down perfect technique. There's so many things. Make sure you guys join this course. It's gonna be just amazing. And now today we are talking about ways to get in the head of your opponent. Maybe crack them a little bit. Now, in my opinion, the more experienced your opponent gets, the less likely that these are gonna work. And that's why it's so amazing that fighters like Conor McGregor are able to get into the mind of opponents like Jose Aldo, who are so experienced. Because usually that's not easy. But when we're starting off, even getting in there a little bit, just making them second guess something can give you a little edge. So the very first strategy that we're going to talk about today was one that was relayed to me years ago. I haven't used it personally in the exact way I'm going to describe it today, but I do think there's a time and a place for it, especially if you are a fighter who hits hard. We are talking about walking out from your corner as soon as the first round starts, boom, 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 and blasting in your biggest, hardest round kick to create fear in this guy and let him know that if he makes one mistake, one little mistake, he is going to get knocked out. And there are more elements of this that you need to understand. Like, why wouldn't we just run out and blast the biggest low kick and light that guy's thigh up? Or why wouldn't we walk out and try to scare him with a big punch? Well, I think running out and blasting a low kick without knowing how good this guy is at checking is a potential disaster, because what happens if you catch his knee? First kick you throw, you catch his knee, and oh, your shin's done. That's a bad strategy. Walking out and bombing in your biggest punch when you're within counter range and the person might hit you back with a hook is again a bad strategy. But coming out and throwing your hardest kick right at their bicep, it's a relatively safe thing. What's the worst that happens? You know, you miss, or they catch it and they sweep you. But the likelihood of that happening early in the fight is not high. Most people will have their guard up. They'll be a little bit timid, especially in their first fight. Second fight, third fight, and you'll probably just blast a hard shot off there and really get that bicep sore and let them know, yeah, I have the power to hit. I think this is a great strategy, and I think it's something that could tip the scales in your favor, because what are they going to do after that? Assuming that you actually hit them. Well, number one, they might get scared. They might get timid. They might start backing off, and you have that offensive advantage right away. Number two, they go, oh, I'm scared. I want to get this fight done with as quick as possible. And they get over aggressive and they become so easy to counter. This is a great strategy. If again, you're in those early stages, once you get up to 10 fights plus, I think it won't work. People will not be fazed by this, but early on, definitely. The next strategy, which I do like to implement, is to use sort of deadpan eyes during any stare downs, whether it be at the weigh-ins, press conference, the beginning of the fight, really not engaging, but giving them these dead eyes. And I've done this my whole career. I take my gaze, 2 eyes, into their 1 eye, and I just look through, not looking at what they're taking in. I just walk up, in whatever way, I have my hands, and I just stare through. And I've had people after relate to me that even in the stare downs, they felt like they were going to lose. They already felt like the fight was lost just from the stare down. Is it that strategy in particular that created that? I don't know. But 2 eyes to 1, dead look through, not really taking in what they're doing. I like it. I think it works. The next strategy which you can implement, and again, it's not one that I use because I like to be very respectful in competition, but you can taunt and toy with your opponent. So many times, even at a high level, we'll see somebody throw a punch and the guy fades back a little bit and the punch just whizzes by, and then they're like, and they'll do something like that. Or if you catch your opponent and you sweep them, instead of just walking away, you can kind of give them a stare down or stick your tongue out at them. Again, not things that I would use because I like to be very respectful. That's my martial arts background. It's that karate from years ago. But if you can do things which upset them, there's a good chance that's going to throw them off their game. An upset fighter is not thinking clearly, therefore they might make tactical errors. They might act with aggression and emotion as opposed to their brain and tactically. So you can definitely do that if it's something you feel is okay for you to do. The last strategy which I want to talk about today, and is sometimes hard to get over, even if I hear my opponent doing it, is during the warm-ups. And I do this very often. Make a lot of noise. When you hit, make sure you are really making that yelling, scary sound. Make sure that you're bringing pads that crack when you hit them, not ones that are just kind of like, bleh. Sometimes we get those pads and they just make you sound so powerful, just snapping and cracking away. When you are backstage, and very often, especially when you start off early in your career, you are either within eyesight of your opponent or within hearing range. It's only when I started fighting with like Bellator and stuff like that, where you'd have your own private locker room, opposite side of the stadium. I wouldn't even see my opponent until we're both coming out. But early on, it's all very small arenas, very close. And when you put in that extra little noise, whether it be vocal or from impact, the other guy's hearing it. And he is going to start thinking about what that means if he takes a shot. So while this won't work for everybody, it definitely has a time and a place. And for instance, when I fought Robin van Roosmalen, which was the hardest fight of my whole career, he was very close to me actually. And the whole time for like 1 hour, I just heard him hitting pads, just yelling and cracking those pads in fast combos, just bang, 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 bang. And I'd be going, geez, okay. And it gets in your head just that little bit. So that's an extra strategy which you can bring to the fight game, which many people, many coaches are not going to teach you about. So let's call it there, 4 strategies to get into the head of your opponent. Try to implement 1 or 2 of them in your next fight, and you might be surprised with the result. I'll see you guys back here soon for another video.